in this case, we are all missing something really important, and very few people are talking about the one thing that AI depends on more than anything else. It's data, not the AI model, not the prompts, not the latest tool, but data. Because AI is only as good as the information we give to it. Just think about it. In software testing, AI is not magically figuring things out on its own. It's simply learning from test data, user data, production logs, environment configurations, historical defects, or maybe edge cases. So basically, it's learning from context. And context in this case is just another word for data. Now, here's where things get really interesting. When an AI generated test passes, what do we usually do? What we do is we celebrate. The dashboard visually looks green, the pipeline is passed, everything in this case looks really healthy. So naturally, we assume that the product is healthy too. But passing test does not always mean that you have a working product. Sometimes it just means your test never really asked the right question. Or even worse, it asked the right question to the wrong data. Just think about your own testing environment. If your testing environment does not uh, resemble your production environment, my question would be, what are you actually validating? If your test data is incomplete, if your test data is incomplete, are you testing your application, or are you testing an imaginary version of your application? And here's one more. If your AI has only ever seen happy paths, then what do you think? How is it supposed to discover, let's say, messy failures hiding in the corners? And that's the part that worries me the most, because most people think bad data causes tests to fail. Honestly, that's not the real danger. The real danger is when bad data allows your tests to pass incorrectly. Incorrectly. Because when something usually fails in traditional testing, we investigate on it. But when something passes, we just move on. That's human nature. And confidence is incredibly valuable, but only and only when it's actually earned. And I think AI in this case introduces a completely new kind of risk here. Traditional automation usually fails loudly. A locator changes, a script crashes, the pipeline turns red. So, looking at all of those things, you immediately know that something is wrong. But AI does not always fail like that. AI can fail very quietly and maybe even more dangerously. It fails confidently. It can give you beautifully written explanations, convincing results, perfectly logical reasoning, all based on incomplete or flawed information. So everything looks intelligent. But my question is, intelligence is not the same thing as correctness. We've all heard the phrase, right? Garbage in, garbage out. AI has not changed that. It has just made the output much more convincing and believable. So we are no longer, when we compare traditional testing versus testing with AI, we are no longer looking at obviously broken results. We are looking at answers that sound right, and believable answers are much harder to question. That's why before I ask, can before I ask, can AI generate better tests? I ask something much simpler. Does my data deserve better tests? Before I spend hours and hours optimizing my prompts, I ask whether I'm optimizing bad inputs or what. Before I celebrate higher automation numbers, I usually ask, am I automating quality or am I automating confidence? Because AI does not replace the core fundamentals of testing, it only amplifies them. So, in this case, good data becomes even more valuable and bad data becomes even more dangerous. So, whenever someone tells me that they are building an AI product or an AI based or AI powered testing solution, my first question is not about which AI model are you using. My first question is much more simpler. It's usually around what does your data look like? Tell me more about that. Because bad data does not break testing, it lies to it. And that's the whole point I'm trying to make. And the most dangerous bugs are not the ones that fail loudly, they are the ones that convince us that everything is working exactly as intended. Just think about it.